Despite his claims that his contract with AEW expires at the beginning of 2024, WWE reportedly are not in talks with AEW World Champion MJF over a possible deal with the company. In fact, the internal belief within WWE is that he has re-signed quietly with AEW, but it's not the only news when it comes to MJF, as he reportedly has injured his hip in the main event of Full Gear against Jay White, resulting in his hip having to be popped back in and him actually walking around on crutches. We'll let you know if he's set to miss any television time moving forward. The Young Bucks reportedly have finished up with being the Elite. We'll let you know why. Speaking of injuries, Juice Robinson was not at Full Gear, and he's set to possibly miss more television time moving forward, as he's set to undergo surgery on a back injury, and an update on new theme songs for Monday Night Raw. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about MJF and possibly a big update on his future with All Elite Wrestling. Now, this past weekend was a big one for AEW World Champion Maxwell Jacob Friedman. At AEW Full Gear, the young pro wrestling prodigy successfully retained the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships alongside impromptu tag team partner Samoa Joe, who was substituting for an injured Adam Cole. Following the match, though, MJF was viciously attacked by the Guns and was sent out of the arena screaming in an ambulance. The main event was then changed to feature Adam Cole, who cannot compete due to his ankle injury, defending Friedman's title instead. However, Friedman made a miraculous last-minute return to the arena just before the match and successfully defended his AEW World Championship against Switchblade Jay White. The win further solidified Friedman as the biggest fish currently in the AEW pond, something he's not shy about when discussing in several interviews. In fact, speaking of interviews, late last week, in an interview with Sports Illustrated, Friedman again played up the idea that his AEW contract comes up next year and that AEW president Tony Khan is trying desperately to keep him. In the interview, he also mentioned that there's a lot of things about WWE that I like, and noted that his decision will come down to whoever offers him the most money. Of course, a line he said several times. Of course, throughout the year, Friedman has occasionally used the phrase, the bidding war of 2024, to hype up his upcoming free agency. Now, House of Wrestling are reporting that they have learned from several WWE sources who believe Friedman has quietly re-signed with AEW. One higher-up WWE source stated that there have been, quote, zero talks, end quote, between the two sides. They further noted that the idea Friedman is set to enter free agency imminently is a, quote, false narrative, end quote, that they believe he has re-signed well into 2027, maybe suggesting that sometime in 2022 he signed a new 5-year contract with All Elite Wrestling. This is what one WWE source said, quote, this is a completely in his head storyline, end quote. Another quote said, 1000%, another WWE source stated, I was told a while ago he is under a long-term deal, which is why they stopped pushing the 2024 stuff, end quote. Now, House of Wrestling say they reached out to AEW for comment regarding Friedman's contract status, but has not heard back. If they do, they'll let people know in a follow-up response. Now, what do you think when it comes to MJF and the bidding war of 2024? Do you believe that it's real, or do you believe, like these WWE sources, according to Nick Houseman, are suggesting that it's all made up in his head? Now, we do know that at one point, MJF's contract with AEW was set to expire at the beginning of 2024. However, there were rumors when MJF returned to AEW television in sort of September 2022 that he may have possibly agreed a new contract with the company around that period of time. Given that most contracts in AEW are 3 or 5 years, it would make sense that if he had signed a new contract, it would have been a 5-year extension, and that would take him into 2027. Now, at the time, there were reports that he had signed a new deal, but it wasn't an extension, rather just an improvement on the terms that he was previously on. What are your thoughts involved in all of this? Do you think MJF indeed has signed a new contract, a long-term extension, or do you believe that his contract indeed, like he says, expires at the beginning of 2024? Let me know your thoughts about that. Now, it's not the only news when it comes to MJF, because reportedly he may have suffered an injury at the Full Gear pay-per-view in Los Angeles. Now, AEW World Champion MJF actually wrestled twice, as we mentioned on the pay-per-view. The first on the 0-hour pre-show, teaming with Samoa Joe to defend his Ring of Honor tag team titles against the Guns. MJF's leg was attacked after the match, with him going on to work the main event with a kayfabe leg injury. While MJF's leg may have not actually been injured, he did reportedly suffer an injury during the match. Per WrestlePurist on Twitter, which you can see on the screen right now, they tweeted out, quote, according to sources, MJF hurt his hip during his match versus Jay White at AEW Full Gear and had to have his hip popped back in after the show. He was also said to have banged up his shoulder. MJF is not expected to miss any TV time, but the current plan is for him to be featured in a non-wrestling role. Now, Sean Ross Sapp actually quote tweeted this, which you can see on the screen right there, and said, quote, I can confirm I've also heard word of MJF's hip being hurt this weekend. Now, it may not actually be known when he actually hurt the hip or the spot in question. Logic would maybe suggest it was at the point where Switchblade Jay White was put on the announcer's table, but in a botch, the announcer's table actually collapsed, and MJF went up to the top rope and did a diving elbow drop from the top rope to the outside of the ring anyway, landing on a hip that may have already been injured or possibly injuring it in that spot. The positive news, though, is that he's not expected to miss any television time, but he won't be wrestling seemingly for the foreseeable future. Let me know your thoughts about that, and if you have any concerns about MJF's health moving into the future. Now, speaking of social media posts, we've got one involving the Young Bucks being finished up with being the Elite. Now, this past Saturday night at AEW Full Gear, the Young Bucks lost their AEW World Tag Team title shot to the Golden Jets, that being Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. The two executive vice presidents had previously won a shot at the titles when they were victorious in a fatal four-way match at AEW Wrestle Dream against Orange Cassidy and Hook, the Guns, and the Lucha Brothers. Now, following the loss yesterday, fellow Being the Elite castmate Brandon Cutler took to social media to give an update, saying, quote, I am being told that the Young Bucks will be taking some time away from wrestling, he said. People close to Matt and Nick's camp are asking for privacy during this time, end quote. Now, following the update, Fightful reported that the Young Bucks are on the verge of turning heel if they hadn't already turned heel in the eyes of many fans. They also noted plans for other AEW stars to join them in what seems and sounds like a heel stable. Cutler is one of the names tentatively planned to continue working with the duo, which is unsurprising considering how he broke the initial news that they were taking time off. Furthermore, it sounds like Cutler will continue acting as a mouthpiece for them on screen and on social media moving forward. Earlier today, Cutler seemed to confirm that portion of the report when he shared another update on the Young Bucks on social media, saying, quote, you can see it on the screen right now, sources close to Matt and Nick are telling me that they have officially finished up with being the Elite, Cutler wrote on X. Based on Fightful's report, the changes being made to being the Elite are all part of the Jacksons turning heel. While not explicitly noted, since their departure from the program was not yet public, it would seem their exit from BTE is also part of that turn. If we get any more details on the heel turn or plans moving forward, we'll let you know. Now, it was a big day and a big event for Bullet Club Gold this weekend at Full Gear. Of course, they were involved in 2 title matches, unsuccessful in both, but many people were curious when it came to the absence of Juice Robinson, and we have some unfortunate news when it comes to his injury status. Now, Fightful Select are reporting that they have confirmed that Bullet Club Gold member Juice Robinson is slated to be out of action for the immediate future. Robinson was absent from this weekend's AEW Full Gear pay-per-view in Los Angeles as he's dealing with an injury. Now, they said actually during the show that it was because he got hit over the head and he sustained a head injury, but that's not actually the case. Fightful confirmed that Robinson sustained a back injury recently and it will require surgery to fix. Now, Fightful say they're not sure exactly when Robinson sustained the injury, but he last competed on the November 1st episode of AEW Dynamite, where Bullet Club Gold defeated MJF and the Acclaimed. Fightful weren't given a specific timetable, but they have been told he's likely done in the ring for the year, though it wasn't expected to be an extremely drawn-out absence, barring any setbacks. So he is going to undergo surgery, most likely not going to wrestle for the rest of the year. Hopefully it's not too long-term, but certainly for the foreseeable future, we might not be seeing that much of rock-hard Juice Robinson on AEW television. Possibly, though, he could return fairly quickly in maybe a managerial capacity, just not be resting. If we get any more details on his status, his health moving forward, we'll let you know. Finally, Monday Night Raw tonight on USA Network, and it's going to feature some production changes. We spoke about this previously, but we got more new details when it comes to theme song changes for the Red brand. Now, Fightful has learned more about some changes that are set for Raw's theme song soon. As was mentioned over the weekend by Sean Ross Sapp, there have been discussions about changing WWE Monday Night Raw's theme, with the change possibly coming as soon as this week. However, there are other elements of the production getting new themes as well. As best as Fightful can tell, the new Raw theme will be titled, quote, Born to Be, end quote. There is also music for match graphics, showing the crowd, and the like. They have been told the names of those are Survival, Came to Win It, and Eyes of a Warrior. The publishers are listed as members of Def Rebel and Stephanie Music Publishing Inc., the latter of which is WWE's music publishing company. If we get any more details on that, we'll let you know. I asked the question last time, I'll ask it again. What's your favorite pro wrestling theme that you had seen when it comes to a show open or show graphic or something like that? Raw, SmackDown, NXT, WCW, Nitro, Thunder, TNA Impact, AEW Dynamite, you name it. What's your favorite pro wrestling theme song? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. But there you go, guys. This latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.